We begin our look at sports this Monday morning on the baseball diamond. The Bronx Bombers rebounded from a 2-1 loss on Saturday by topping the Toronto Blue Jays on Sunday. Masahiro Tanaka pitched 6 strong innings. Gio Urshela drove in 2 runs, and the New York Yankees beat the Jays 4-2 on Sunday. Toronto ace Marcus Stroman pitched well in his Bronx audition. He very well could be one of the pitchers the Yanks acquire at the upcoming trade deadline. Pinstripers continue their homestand tonight at the big ballpark in the Bronx when they welcome American League East rival Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, the Mets have come out of the All-Star break strong. Robinson Cano homered for the 2nd consecutive game to help lead the Amazons to a 6-2 win over the Miami Marlins on Sunday. The Mets may still consider dealing pitchers Zach Wheeler and Noah Syndergaard. The Amazons have won 2 out of 3 and open a series in Minnesota on Tuesday. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. NYCFC fell to the Red Bulls Sunday in New Jersey. The Red Bulls edged NYC 2-1 and may have benefited from a controversial non-call in the build-up to the goal that proved to be the match's main talking point. Speaking of talking points, the Angels honored Tyler Skaggs with an emotional ceremony before their first home game since his sudden death on July 1st. They honored him by donning his number 45 jersey. They honored him by inviting his mother onto the field for the ceremonial first pitch, and they honored him improbably with a combined no-hitter in a 13-0 trouncing of the Seattle Mariners at Angel Stadium. Baseball and life never cease to amaze me. Just 2 days after a pair of Angels combined to throw a no-hitter against the Mariners, the Rays fell just short of MLB history. 2 Tampa Bay pitchers combined to throw 8 perfect innings on Sunday against the Baltimore Orioles, setting down the first 24 batters they faced. There has never been a combined perfect game in baseball history. A weak single in the 9th kept it that way. Through a partnership between MLB and a minor league, baseball rules could be changing in the very near future. An outfielder in the Independent Atlantic League of Professional Baseball made history on Saturday in Maryland by becoming the first baseball player to steal first base in the league's history. During a game between the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the Lancaster Barnstormers, Tony Thomas was at bat in the bottom of the 6th inning when an errant pitch bounced behind the catcher and toward the backstop. The 33-year-old Thomas decided to give the new rule a try and took off for first base. The outfielder made it to first without a throw from the catcher on an 0-1 count. That's called stealing first base if you're keeping score at home. Women's sports might be evening the pay scale in the near future, too. One of U.S. women's soccer's advertisers is putting its money where its mouth is in the fight for equal pay. Secret Deodorant, through its parent company Procter & Gamble, announced a $529,000 donation to the Women's National Team's Players Association on Sunday with a full-page ad in the New York Times. The sizable donation has symbolic meaning, with $23,000 donated for each of the 23 members who won the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup 1 week ago. Pretty cool. And if you missed Sunday's action at Wimbledon, do yourself a favor and at least run back the highlights. Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer traded the lead in an intense matchup, playing on and on and on until an unprecedented 5th set tiebreaker was required to settle their memorable Wimbledon final. In the end, it was Djokovic who emerged victorious, coming back to edge Federer and become the first man in 71 years to take home the trophy from the All England club after needing to erase championship points. In golf, Tony Romo is like he is in the broadcast booth these days, right on the money. The former Dallas Cowboys quarterback won his 2nd straight American Century Championship, taking the Celebrity Golf Tournament title again this year. Romo scored 71 points in the modified Stableford scoring system event, winning the tournament by a comfortable 14 points. He's a better golfer than QB. Just taking shots, Dallas fans. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Anthony Davis wore number 23 in high school at Kentucky and with the New Orleans Pelicans. Unfortunately for him, Nike is reportedly putting on hold LeBron James's plan to give him that number for at least 1 season. Davis will wear number 3 instead. Davis was also supposed to be one of the headliners for USA Basketball this summer as the Americans try to win the FIBA World Cup in China. Now Davis is changing his plans and will not be with Team USA this summer, according to Yahoo Sports. In motor racing, Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix as Mercedes went 1-2 yet again. Kurt Busch won the Quaker State 400 in NASCAR, looking awfully fast at Kentucky Speedway on Saturday. In IndyCar, Simon Pagenaud may have led nearly every lap of the Honda Indy Toronto from start to finish, but Scott Dixon put up a fight as the laps began to wind down at Sunday's 85-lap event. Pagenaud saw his lead of over 6 seconds slowly become smaller and smaller as he had to slow his pace in order to save fuel. Dixon in second place began eating into Pagenaud's lead, eventually coming as close as a half second to the Indy 500 winner. However, with the help of lapped traffic and a last lap crash by his teammate Will Power that would end the race under caution, Pagenaud was able to claim his third victory of the season. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for the racing of the future. This weekend in Brooklyn, Robin Frins won the 2018-19 season finale in Formula E on Sunday, while Jean-Eric Vergne goes down in history as the series' first two-time champion. Here's how it all went down. Check this out.
Well, I'm so proud of my team because last year we did an amazing job being a private team with no testing days, with very limited resources. And this year we had more resources with DS. Of course, it took more time to get everybody to work together, but nevertheless we were able to do a fantastic job as a team. And I'm so proud of them because it's been a tough season. And the way we were able to always bounce back from the bad moments really made us success this year.
Amazing weekend of racing. That was Formula E's third turn in Brooklyn and the conclusion of its fifth season. Grand Prix auto racing dates back more than a century to races organized in France in the early 1900s. Now known as Formula One, the auto racing is an international sporting phenomenon, but another racing league is taking over city streets around the world. And while it has all the similar thrills of Formula One, it's missing one important element: gasoline. Instead, the Formula E League uses e-racers, high-performance cars that run on electric power. It's one of the most distinctive sounds in sport. It's far from the usual roar of a racetrack, but when the league lacks, and what it lacks in volume, it really makes up for in intensity. And now you can make a case it's the fastest-growing motorsport in the world. Formula E racers are short, and the races themselves are short, about 45 minutes, and take place on tight tracks in city centers. Speeds can hit up to 175 miles per hour. It's a far cry from the most popular racing league in the world, and that is Formula One, where the classic combustion engines are more powerful and race on courses that are wider and far longer. But Jean-Eric Vergne, who drove Formula One before becoming Formula E's top-rated driver, said it's not so simple. In the Formula E vehicles, the battery takes the engine space. Each costs about $1 million and weighs 1,500 pounds, more than half of which is battery weight. In previous seasons, drivers had to switch cars because batteries couldn't last the whole race. This year, that's no longer the case. Battery power has improved dramatically, and so has the racing league overall. The logistics of moving those batteries and everything else from city to city is really remarkable. In Brooklyn, nearly 700 people worked nonstop this week to build a track from scratch. The whole event cost Formula E between 10 and 15 million. The future on display. And Bob, I even scored these awesome shades. They match my suit. That's your sports from our Mercy studio in the East Bronx. I'm Bobby C.